In the small village of Olumo, surrounded by thick forests and tall mountains, there lived a girl named Adanma. She was 9 years old, with bright eyes and a curious mind. Adanma lived with her grandmother, Mama Nena, because her parents had gone to the big city in search of work. Every morning, Adanma would help her grandmother fetch water from the stream, sweep the compound and feed the goats. She loved to listen to stories under the moonlight. While the village children gathered around the fire, but Adanma was different from other children. She asked many questions. She wanted to know why the birds sang at dawn, why the forest made noises at night, and why no one went beyond the big Iroko tree deep in the woods. "Do not go near that tree," Mama Nena always warned. "That part of the forest belongs to the spirits." Adanma nodded, but her mind was full of wonder. One hot afternoon, Adanma followed a butterfly into the forest. It was the most beautiful butterfly she had ever seen. Its wings were blue and gold. She chased it, laughing and hopping over logs and stones. Without knowing it, she passed the big Iroko tree. The forest became darker. The trees stood closer together. Strange sounds echoed around her. Suddenly, the butterfly disappeared. Adanma looked around. She was lost. She tried to go back, but every tree looked the same. The path behind her was gone. Fear crept into her heart. She called out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" No answer. She walked and walked until she came to a small clearing. In the middle stood a hut made of shining wood and leaves that glowed. "Who lives here?" she whispered. As if in answer, the door of the hut opened slowly, creaking. Adanma stepped inside. Inside the hut sat an old woman with long white hair and eyes like moonlight. She wore a robe made of feathers, and her voice was soft like the wind. "Welcome, child," she said. "I have been waiting for you." "Me?" Adanma asked, confused. "I was just following a butterfly." The woman smiled. "The forest knows who it chooses. You are brave, curious, and kind, but you must learn to listen." She gave Adanma food that tasted like sweet yams and water from a calabash that made her feel warm and safe. "Sleep now," the woman said. "Tomorrow your training begins." "Training?" Adanma asked, but her eyes were already closing. The next morning, Adanma woke up in a new dress made of green leaves that moved like they were alive. The forest woman stood waiting. "You will learn to understand the forest," she said. "To speak to birds, to listen to trees, to call the wind." Adanma learned quickly. She could talk to ants, ask bees not to sting, and even made a breeze blow when she danced. Days passed, maybe weeks, but she did not feel sad or lonely. But one night she missed Mama Nena. She asked the woman, "Can I go home?" "You may," said the forest woman. "But when you return, you will not be the same." When Adanma stepped out of the forest, she looked different. Her eyes were brighter, her steps lighter. She carried a small wooden staff with a glowing stone. People in the village were shocked. "Adanma, is that really you?" Mama Nena ran to hug her tightly, crying with joy. Adanma smiled. "I'm home, Nana." But strange things began to happen. Sick goats became healthy when she touched them. Dead plants came back to life. When she sang, rain fell. Some villagers feared her. Some called her a witch. Others said she was a blessing. One night, a terrible sickness spread through the village. Many people were weak and coughing. Mama Nena, too. Adanma knelt beside her grandmother and wept. Then she took her glowing staff, sang a song she had learned in the forest, and touched Mama Nena's forehead. A warm light filled the room. The next morning, Mama Nena stood up strong and smiling. The elders called Adanma to the village square. The oldest elder, Papa Obi, asked her, "What happened in the forest, child?" Adanma told them everything: the butterfly, the hut, the forest woman, the training. The elders were silent. Papa Obi spoke. "You were chosen, not cursed. The forest has given you a gift, but gifts must be used with care." From that day, Adanma used her powers to help the village, curing sickness, helping crops grow, and protecting children. But sometimes she sat by the big Iroko tree and listened. The wind would whisper, "Come back when you're ready. There's more to learn." And Adanma would smile, because she knew the forest was not done with her yet. Far away from Olumo, in a large and busy village called Obudu, word of Adanma's powers reached the ears of their king. His name was King Agbani. He was old and sick, and none of the doctors in his kingdom could heal him. One evening, as he sat in pain on his great stool, his chief advisor whispered, "There is a girl in Olumo. They say she brings rain with her, song, and heals the dying with a touch." King Agbani's eyes widened. "Bring her to me," he said. "I must have her." The next morning, the great warriors of Obudu set out for Olumo. They wore dark red robes and carried long spears. They came to see the king of Olumo. They came with gifts, pretending to be friends. The king and the people of Olumo welcomed them. They gave them food to eat and a hut in the village to rest for the night. But in the night, they sneaked into Mama Nena's hut and took Adanma away. When morning came, the village woke to cries. Mama Nena ran into the square shouting, "They have taken her! They have taken my child!" The villagers gathered. The elders were angry. The children cried. But no one dared go after them, because they feared the great warriors of Obudu and their wicked king. Mama Nena whispered to the wind at the big Iroko tree, "Help us, O spirits of the forest. Bring our Adanma back." Deep in the forest, something stirred. Adanma woke up in a strange room. The walls were made of red clay, and the windows were covered with dark cloth. Her hands were not tied, but she could feel a heavy sadness in the air. She heard voices outside, men speaking in low tones. One said, "The king is waiting. Bring the girl." Two guards entered. "Come with us." Adanma followed them through the wide streets of Obudu. People stared at her. Some whispered. Some looked scared. At the palace gates, she saw a crowd gathered. Drums beat slowly. Inside, King Agbani sat on a golden stool, wrapped in thick animal skins. His eyes were tired, his voice weak. "Is it true? Can you heal me?" he asked. Adanma looked at him calmly. "I can try, but I did not come here by choice." The king coughed hard and nodded. "If you help me, you can go free. I promise." Adanma raised her staff. She sang softly, the same song she used to heal Mama Nena. A soft light came from her staff. The king's breathing slowed. His hands stopped shaking. The king became fully healed. The people gasped. They started to sing her praise. But before she could rest, a loud voice shouted from the shadows, "She is a danger. She will take our power. We must keep her." It was the high priest of Obudu. His eyes burned with jealousy. "We will never let her go." Having witnessed Adanma's extraordinary powers firsthand, the king was unwilling to let her go so easily. He believed he could harness her magic to amass greater wealth and rise to become the most powerful king across all the kingdoms. Adanma stepped back as guards surrounded her again. The promise was broken. She was a prisoner once more. Far away in Olumo, Mama Nena stood by the Iroko tree. The leaves rustled loudly. The wind howled. The forest was answering her call. In the heart of the forest near Olumo, the Iroko tree trembled. Its roots moved like snakes beneath the soil. Birds circled above, calling in strange voices. Mama Nena stood there, eyes closed, holding a calabash filled with water from the sacred stream. She poured the water at the base of the tree. "Take this, mighty forest. Take my tears, my pain, my plea. Bring my Adanma back." The wind rose wild and fast, blowing dust and leaves in a whirl around her. Then silence. From behind the tree, a soft light blinked. A tiny creature stepped forward. It looked like a boy, but his skin was bark and his hair was leaves. He had glowing green eyes. "Mama," he said in a voice like rustling leaves, "I am Uzor, the forest's messenger. The spirits have heard you." Mama Nena dropped to her knees. "Please find my child. She is in Obudu?" Uzor nodded. "She is not safe. The forest cannot reach her there easily. Their lands are dry, their hearts are greedy. But I will go. I will find her." And just like that, he leapt into the trees and disappeared, faster than a shadow. Meanwhile, in the palace of Obudu, Adanma sat alone in a small, dark room. Her staff had been taken. Her powers felt quiet, as though the walls themselves were blocking the forest. She tried to call the wind, nothing. She tried to hum the healing song. Only a weak breeze moved through the cracks in the window. "Why did they bring me here?" she whispered. "Why did the king lie?" A soft knock came at the door. Adanma stood quickly. The door creaked open. A small girl about her age peeked inside. "Are you Adanma?" she asked shyly. "Yes." Who are you? I'm Kelechi. My father is a servant here. I saw what you did for the king, but the priest is angry. He says you are dangerous. Adanma's heart sank. He wants to keep me here. Kelechi nodded. But I think there is a secret passage out of the palace. My grandmother told me stories. Adanma stepped closer. Can you show me? Kelechi looked around nervously. Not yet. It's guarded at night, but I'll come back when it's safe. I promise. Before she left, Kelechi handed her something hidden in a cloth. Adanma opened it. It was her glowing stone. Somehow, Kelechi had taken it back from the guards. Adanma held it close. Thank you, she whispered. She didn't feel strong yet, but she didn't feel alone anymore. Back in Olumo, Uzor, the forest boy, climbed a tall tree. From the highest branch, he could see far across the lands, past rivers, fields, and villages. The wind whispered to him. She's in Obudu. They keep her in the stone palace, the wind said. I must go faster, Uzor replied. He leapt from tree to tree, riding the wind, until he came to the edge of Obudu's land. The trees here were thin. The ground was cracked. The forest did not live here like it did in Olumo. He crouched in the shadows of the tall palace walls, waiting for night. But he was not alone. 2 red road guards walked by, laughing. One stopped and sniffed the air. Something's here, he said. Uzor froze, then a loud growl. From behind a pile of stones, a large panther with golden eyes leapt out and attacked the guards. They screamed and ran. Uzor turned to the panther. Thank you, sister, he said. The panther nodded. She is deep inside. You must be careful. The priest has magic too. I will be careful, Uzor promised. I will not leave without her. That night, Kelechi returned. She tapped gently at Adanma's door and whispered, The guards have changed. It's time. Adanma followed her, through narrow hallways and past storerooms, filled with dried herbs and dusty scrolls. Finally, they reached a cracked wall behind an old tapestry. Kelechi pushed aside a stone. A tunnel yawned before them, cool and damp. This leads under the palace, Kelechi said. But be careful. It has not been used in many years. Adanma thanked her and stepped inside, her glowing stone lighting the way. As she moved deeper into the tunnel, the air grew colder. Faint whispers floated in the dark. Suddenly a voice echoed from the shadows. You should not be here. Adanma raised her stone. From the darkness, 2 glowing eyes stared back. Her hands still clutched around the glowing stone. The high priest stood at the end of the tunnel, his eyes locked on her. Behind him, guards spilled into the tunnel, their footsteps thundering against the earth. Seize her, the high priest commanded. One of the guards lunged forward. Suddenly, a voice called from behind the guards, Stop! It was Uzor. He stepped forward from the shadows of the tunnel, calm, firm, his staff in hand. His presence filled the room like a gust of wind before a storm. The guards hesitated. The high priest knew him. You are the one the forest listens to. You are the forest messenger, the high priest said. She is with me, Uzor said. You have no right to touch her. Uzor grabbed Adanma's hand and they took off, racing through the forest. Adanma couldn't climb trees like Uzor, so they stuck to the forest floor, slowing him down but leaving him no choice. Behind them, the king roared in fury, ordering the high priest and his fiercest warriors to bring the girl back, dead or alive. They were not to return without her. Uzor held Adanma's hand and ran fast through the thick forest. His feet moved like he knew every tree and every turn. He didn't stop, didn't look back. Follow me, Uzor said, his voice calm but strong. Adanma ran behind him, her legs tired, her heart beating fast. She could hear the Obudu warriors shouting behind them. They were getting closer. Uzor didn't seem afraid. He moved like the wind, leading her through tall grass, around big trees and across a shallow stream. Suddenly Uzor stopped. He closed his eyes and touched the bark of a large tree. What are you doing? Adanma whispered. Listening, he said. The forest speaks. It tells me where to go. Adanma watched him. She remembered the forest woman who fed her sweet yams and water from a calabash. She had said, the forest knows who it chooses. But the forest knew Uzor even more. He wasn't just a boy, he was the forest's messenger, a spirit in a boy's body. This way, Uzor said, turning left. They went through a narrow path, hidden under branches. The warriors ran past, missing the path completely. The forest helped Uzor. Trees stood in the way of the soldiers. Vines tripped their feet and birds made loud noises to send them the wrong way. Adanma looked around. The forest is protecting us. Uzor nodded. It always protects what belongs to it. They kept moving until they found a quiet place, with thick trees and soft leaves on the ground. They sat down to rest. "You're not like anyone I've met," Adanma said. Uzor smiled. "And neither are you, but your time will come. For now, let the forest guide me, and you follow." Adanma nodded. She still didn't understand all her powers, but she knew one thing: she could trust Uzor, and she could trust the forest. The sun was setting when Uzor and Adanma finally reached Olumo village. The trees opened up, and Adanma saw the small clay houses, the wide paths, and the familiar hills. She stopped for a moment and looked around. Home. "Mama Nena!" someone shouted from the village gate. It was a young boy who ran ahead. Soon, Mama Nena came running out, her wrapper flying behind her, tears in her eyes. "My child," she cried, wrapping Adanma in a warm, tight hug. "You came back to me." Adanma held her grandmother close. "I missed you, Mama." People began to gather. One by one, the villagers came out of their homes. They clapped, they cheered, and some even cried. Children ran around excitedly. "The girl has returned. She is safe." She came back from Obudu. Even the village drummers came out, beating their drums with joy. Then the king of Olumo stepped forward. He looked older than Adanma remembered, and his face was full of sadness. He knelt before her. "Adanma," he said, "we are sorry. We wanted to help, but the Obudu kingdom is strong. We had no soldiers to fight them. We were afraid." Adanma looked at him kindly. "I understand, my king, but from now on, no village will ever harm Olumo again." The people cheered louder. "I will finish my lessons," she said. "I will grow stronger. I will protect our land." Mama Nena wiped her tears and raised her hands to the sky. "The forest has brought her back. Olumo is safe again." And as the stars came out, the people danced and sang. Adanma sat beside Mama Nena, holding her hand, feeling warm, safe, and sure. She was home, but deep inside she knew her journey was just beginning. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe for more, like the video, share it with friends who love a good tale, and drop a comment to let us know what you think or what you'd love to hear next. Until next time, keep the stories alive.